It's never too early to catch Derby fever as the road to the Triple Crown stops at Aqueduct for the Grade 2 Remsen. Avery Island has been hot in his last two races, winning them by a combined 10 lengths. But does he have what it takes to be a Derby contender? Then, 10 horses will look for a big payday in the $750,000 Cigar Mile. None more so than Sharp Azteca, who has found the Grade 1 win elusive. The Demoiselle, Remsen, and Cigar Mile are coming up next on Aqueduct Live. Mclaughlin will look for his second win in 3 years in the Grade 2 Remsen with your favorite right there, Avery Island, as he takes on a field of 9 other foes. And then Sharp Azteca will look for redemption after a runner-up effort in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile and try to capture his first Grade 1 win in the Cigar Mile. But first, Daisy is one of 2 John Service horses who will look to stay undefeated in the Demoiselle as she's coming off a convincing win in the Grade 3 Tempted. You are watching Aqueduct Live, and as always, we are brought to you by Claiborne Farm, 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Well, we have a picture-perfect, almost winter day here at Aqueduct Racetrack for our last big day of the year of 2017, the Grade 1 Cigar Mile. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Maggie Wolfendale alongside New York Racing handicapping and analyst Annie Serling. Welcome.
It's great to be here. Thanks, Maggie. It really is. It's such a great day of the year. It's really a celebration of so much of it's good in racing in the New York Racing Association. We end the year on a high note. It's a beautiful day. We've run 5 turf races today, but we've got 3 terrific graded stakes coming up on this show.
Isn't that incredible, having that many turf races this late in the year, which is due, in fact, to the fact that we have a new course.
And a new course that's terrific, and we'll talk about that later in the show, and it's held up extremely well. And we really haven't had much rain, but it's about dirt racing on this show, and we have some doozies.
Yes, we do. And as always, the Cigar Mile, it's always who shows up out of the Breeders' Cup, Andy. Well, this year we have 3 horses, and likely to be your top 3 choices is Mind Your Biscuits, Sharp Azteca, and Practical Joke. He will look to extend his 1-turn win streak to 6 for 6.
Can he retire undefeated around 1 turn? A great move by Martin Pans in the racing office in moving this race a week later. And it enables these horses in the Breeders' Cup to get that important extra week, and that's one of the key reasons we have such a terrific field.
And we have terrific fields for all 3 races that we're bringing you on Aqueduct Live. The Demoiselle for the 2-year-old fillies, 2-turn mile and an eighth. The same thing goes for the 2-year-old boys in the Remsen. Both have implications, obviously, for next year as 3-year-olds for the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks.
No, it's going a mile and an eighth. I mean, we've only run 1 2-year-old race so far at a mile and an eighth at the NYRA tracks this year. And we're going to see how these horses do. And this is an important race as they head towards Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks, and many big races.
But most importantly, this $750,000 Cigar Mile will end things for us, and we are fast and we are firm. Temperatures in the upper 40s, and it's really quite a pleasant day, and we have a great crowd here at the Big A.
You're a little disappointed, though, because Gabby's in the paddock today, and shouldn't she have to freeze a little bit in the spot that you're usually in December freezing?
The one thing I can say is it lets you expand your wardrobe. You get to, acquire some pretty nice jackets and scarves and hats, as I'm sure Gabby is bundled up and ready to go, but a $100 sign-up bonus with the promo code Aqueduct Live. Just go to NYRABets.com to earn that new member sign-up bonus of $100. And if you don't feel like playing with real money, you can play with fake money, if you will. The Aqueduct Showdown is our online contest. 150,000 NYRA Bets points, though, up for grabs. The contestants with the 3 largest mythical bankrolls at the end of our show. After Cigar Mile, we will check in with the standings at the end of Aqueduct Live. Well, we are moments, I should say minutes, 9 minutes away from the Grade 2 Demoiselle, 3-2, Andy, on Wonder Godot.
Yeah, named, of course, for Wonder Woman. So it's actually kind of a cool horse, and she's got a fashionable name, and she did. We talked off camera. She had some trouble when she ran last time in the Breeders' Cup, and that was her first start in the dirt. But she so far has run her better races on synthetic and turf. So is she a horse that's going to be talented on all 3 surfaces?
That is true, and we have some horses, obviously, that are much more convincing on the main track. We'll see if Wonder Godot can get that redemption she's been looking for. But first, our post parade is brought to you by OCD Pellets, 10th anniversary of supporting the equine industry with their 2-in-1 bone joint supplement. Visit OCDpellets.com. Number 1 is Daisy.
Fox Hill Farm, those are Songbird's colors. Well, she's not Songbird yet, but she is undefeated, and she won the prep for this, the Tempted, and she won it quite easily. She is a big player and a threat to wire the field.
Long shot coming up from the Mid-Atlantic, Vindictive Ways.
She seems like a long shot on paper. She'd have to run a lot better to get it done here.
Your current 8-5 favorite, trained by Mark Casse, Wonder Godot.
Different schools of thought on this horse. I think she's overbet at this price, and I want to see if she can reproduce that good form from out of town, but she didn't run badly in the Breeders' Cup.
The New York bred number 4 held accountable, looking for some grade 1 action.
I question whether or not she's going to get better going the extra furlong, because she got a very fast pace to close in at a mile, and she wasn't finishing like a horse that looks like she wants more.
Took her a couple tries, but Indy Union broke through last time out in a 4-horse field.
And that was her first time on a dry track, and far and away the best race she ever ran. This horse is a big-time player for a trainer who won 2 stakes here last week.
The second John Service trainee is number 6, Mara Power.
She has the fastest buyer speed figure of anybody coming out of her last race. Now, she has to stretch it out another 5/16 of a mile, but the trainer John Service, who has Daisy, is very good stretching horses out from sprints to routes off of wins.
As we saw with Daisy, going back to the Tempted, number 7 is Layla Noor for No Delacour.
She's a turf horse that had success in a race taken off the turf and put on dirt last time. She beat a weak field, but she certainly shouldn't have a problem with the distance, and that could play in her favor.
Bombs away for number 8, Stakes on a Plane.
Stakes are better than snakes on a plane, but on her PPs, claimed for $25,000. 62-1 might be an underlay.
And Andy, you are keeping it simple for this Demoiselle. Just a win bet.
I like the 6, More Power. I really like this horse's last race. You know, when you look at it at first sighting, you say, wow, that's a fast figure. I don't believe it. Then you look up the other horse she ran against. The second-place finisher came back to win with an identical figure, and the third-place finisher improved her figure 7 points. If she runs a speed figure, a buyer speed figure of 85 in this race, she'll be long gone.
And that was Gibby, but we have our own Gabby Gaudette. She is our trackside analyst for this Aqueduct live show. Gabby, checking in with you. What did you see from these horses physically?
Thanks, Maggie. Nice one there. No, but we were checking out both John Service's horses here, and the 6 Mara Power will start off with. Now, she is the filly that is getting at a distance today. She's got 2 sprints underneath of her belt. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of like her better than the other one who's gone a mile in the Tempted, coming off of that victory last time out. She just looks strong. She's lean. She's lanky. She looks very fit. She's well turned out. She's dappled. And she just looks like she's got a really good mind to her. As we take a look at the rail horse, the number 1, Daisy, for John Service. Now, she did prove last time out that she should get the mile, but she does have to stretch out to 2 turns here today. And she is on the inside, down on the inside. And to me, I just think the other John Service horse just looks a little bit, so to speak, farther along. So opting for the other one here, but both, I think he does send out a very strong hand here.
Gabby liking both John Service's charge. I don't blame her there. Look, they have 4 wins apiece, just young 2-year-olds, but they do have the Wonder Woman, Wonder Godot, up against them, as she will look for her first win on a dirt track in the Demoiselle. Stay tuned to Aqueduct Live.
Naira Bets is the best play in online horse racing and betting. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. NairaBets.com.
Welcome back to Aqueduct Live. We are 4 minutes away from our first graded stakes on this Cigar Mile Day as the Grade 2 Demoiselle for the 2-year-old fillies going 9 furlongs here. And Andy, we are looking at number 1, Daisy, in here. She is a daughter of Blame, and I don't know, they paid $25,000 this coming year in 2018. You can get to Blame for $12,500. That is a bargain, considering that he has several graded stakes winners.
I agree. I was surprised. I think that's a very good price to go to this horse. He was a terrific racehorse on the racetrack, and he's doing well in the stud.
Yeah, he is high up in your books because he defeated Zenial.
Yeah, I know. I'm the only person that likes him because of that. Most people hate him.
I picked him that day, too. So I'm a big fan of Blame as well. They seem to be able to run on any surface. And, of course, 2018 stud fee, $12,500, standing at our sponsor, Claiborne Farm. As we will check back in with number 1, Daisy. And, I mean, do you think that she has the capability of A, setting the pace here, will she be forwardly placed, and B, going the 9 furlongs?
I think she's supposed to be in front in this race. Now, I wonder if Kendra Carmouche will try to stay off the rail. We've had some situations where the rail hasn't been the best place to be, and Kendrick is usually very astute about that. And watching today's races, it feels like being outside is good. She got some real pressure in this last race and responded well. I'm impressed, and I believe that she has a lot of improvement left in her and won't be surprised at all when she wins this race wire to wire.
I agree with you. And don't you think that today, for the most part, I mean, we haven't seen that many dirt races. It seems as though being forwardly placed is good.
I agree. Now, we've only seen 2 dirt races. It's funny because we've run all those turf races, and I was thinking the same thing. Nobody is picking much ground. Now, to be fair, logical horses, to some extent, were up there. But I agree. I'll tell you what, it's not a bad thing for her to have speed.
Definitely not. As Wonder Godot, she comes off what I think was a very troubled trip going back to that Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. She likes to be forwardly placed. She was shuffled back going into that first turn. Then, when it came to doing some running, she was checked badly at the 16th pole. Was she ever getting to the winner, Caledonia Road, who had that beautiful wide sweeping trip? No, but she could have finished closer.
She could have finished 4th in there, and it probably did cost her a length. She definitely had trouble in there. The problem is, it's one of those double-edged swords. You know, the race was falling apart in front of her, so she was the race was collapsing in her favor, but she did have the trouble, and as you say, she got shuffled back a bit early. She's obviously a talented horse. It's so rare that a runner, though, is equally talented on all 3 surfaces. And as the favorite, I want to try to beat her, but she has the talent to win it.
I agree with you. She also gets Johnny V aboard for the first time. He is a 5-time winner of the Demoiselle. Number 6 is Mara Power, who gets Irad Ortiz. He knows how to ride this Aqueduct Oval. And she is stretching out here, Andy. But Violence, he is a new sire. As far as going longer, he's 5 for 14, 36% with his runners trying longer distances.
He's a Medaglia d'Oro. They're supposed to go long. The dam has had some success with her horses going longer, sprint and routes, and this horse has speed as well. It's interesting. Trainer John Service has the horses that will likely be sitting 1 too early. Now, we don't know that means they'll be sitting 1 too late. She actually is as fast as Daisy. Irad will probably be stalking that one, but she's not going to be compromised, especially if what you say is correct, and I don't disagree with you. The track may be kind to front runners.
Yeah, you kind of look at the 2 riders, Kendrick a bit more aggressive. But, Gabby, as far as Wonder Godot sporting those hot pink colors down there on the track, what can you tell us about her?
Well, Maggie, I totally agree with you guys in kind of analyzing the Breeders' Cup last time out. She did get into significant trouble going into the first turn as well, and I kind of thought that compromised her in early position, as she's shown in the past that she likes to be a little bit more forwardly placed. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's forwardly placed here today. In terms of distance and surface, I can't see her having an issue with it in terms of her physicality, and I did get a chance to talk to Mark Cassie, who she did ship all the way down to Ocala at the Cassie Racing training facility down there, and she's been doing well ever since. They were either going to point her for the Starlet or for this race, and he thought that 2 turns, 1 1/8 is actually more suitable for her. So we'll see what she does, but she does look very, very well in the flesh, and love how she's acting here today too. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, the 4 held accountable guys, I've seen her a couple of times in the afternoon, and today she does seem a little bit on the washy side, a little bit on the nervous side, so can't see that as being a positive.
And Gabby, I have experience with Held Accountable. I have not seen her look like this. I would take this as a negative, as she is 6-1 on the board right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you guys know more than that, and anytime you tell me a horse is a negative, they seem to run to that negative. I don't think the 5's impossible. We haven't really talked about Indy Union. She got a dry track for the first time last time, and she ran well, Maggie, so she has a shot.
But that was a 4-horse field against
I agree. No, I agree.
Pink Sands, as we'll throw it up to John and Brielle for the call of the Grade 2 Demoiselle.
Stakes on a plane moving in. They're all set. And they're off. Daisy away well from the inside post, and Wonder Godot came away in second. Held Accountable is third. Then it's Indy Union, and on the outside it's More Power as they race into the clubhouse turn. Daisy with the lead over Wonder Godot, with Held Accountable next in third. And More Power now tucks in towards the rail in fourth. It's a break of two to Vindictive Ways running in fifth. Alongside is Indy Union in sixth. At the back of the pack are Stakes on a Plane and Layla Noor. The first quarter was run in 24 2/5 seconds. And they're heading up the backstretch now with Daisy in front by a half length. Wonder Godot on the outside runs in second, and Held Accountable is next in third. Then it's More Power in fourth, who's just 2.5 lengths from the lead. Vindictive Ways at the rail. On the outside is Indy Union, and then it's Layla Noor, and Stakes on a Plane at the back. Opening half mile was 50 1/5 seconds. Daisy continues to lead, and now there's a half mile to the finish. It's Daisy over Wonder Godot. They're 1-2 going into the far turn. Daisy the leader. Wonder Godot runs in second. Held Accountable. More Power is down at the rail. Those two heads apart third and fourth, with Layla Noor in fifth midway on the turn. Daisy narrowly over Wonder Godot. Held Accountable has asked for more. It looks like More Power's got a lot of horse, but she's in behind horses. On the outside is Layla Noor, 3/4. 1:16-1. They're in the stretch now. Here's Wonder Godot up to grab the lead. On the outside is Held Accountable and Layla Noor. More Power is towards the rail as they pass the 8th pole. It's Wonder Godot now in front by 3. More Power has moved into second, but she's not going to catch Wonder Godot and Johnny Velasquez. They win the Demoiselle by 3.5 lengths. More Power was second. Layla Noor finished third, and the final time was 1 minute, 53 4/5 seconds.
Sometimes guys just have luck in certain races. Johnny Velasquez gets his 6th Demoiselle win very convincingly aboard Wonder Godot. And Andy, she has been sensational when she gets the right trip on any surface.
She had the right trip. It was a slow pace. She was stalking in that perfect spot. But she also won quite easily here. She was clearly the best horse. I mean, yes, the second finisher had a little bit of traffic in there, but she had time to get out, and she was clearly second best. I would say that Layla Noor ran okay, closing into what was a glacial pace. Now, we've run so few races at 1 mile and 8, you want to compare them. It'd be interesting to compare these times to the Remsen coming up in a half an hour. She went 1:53 4/5. It's a seemingly slow time, but I'll tell you, she came home in 12 2/5, Maggie, and that's a very good sign for her.
Yeah, I mean, she's extending herself very nicely down the lane, winning by about 4, and there's nice separation, obviously, in the field. It's pretty strung out.
Right, you can win with a perfect trip and still run well. I mean, I think it's a misnomer. You'll think, oh, that horse got a perfect trip. It didn't run that well, and I think in this case, she was just clearly the best horse. I underrated her. I did not like her in this race, and I was completely wrong. She was very good, much the best. The 6 ran fine, More Power. She was second best.
5 starts, 3 wins on all 3 surfaces, dirt, turf, and synthetic, as the 8-5 favorite Wonder Godot takes the Grade 2 Demoiselle for trainer Mark Cassie, owner Gary Barber. And coming up a little later on the show, we will touch on what has gone on with this Aqueduct course. 698,000 square feet of Kentucky bluegrass sod installed on the inner track. Stay tuned.
After siring the winners of last year's Grade 1 Test Stakes and Humana Distaff, Flatter is having another banner year in 2017. Recent stars include graded stakes winners Flatline and Favorable Outcome, plus multiple graded stakes winner West Coast, who defeated this year's Kentucky Derby, Preakness, Belmont, and Haskell winners in the Grade 1 Travers. Flatter, the successful son of AP Envy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Coming on strong, on.
The star guitar filly rolls. Minute to stardom. Dazzles on debut.
Coming on.
Testing 1, 2 is all alone. She comes to the 16th pole, and this one is all over but the crying. Iona Star was a star today. Won it easily by 3.5.
My love for you coming on strong.
Welcome back to Aqueduct Live. Well, you may have noticed every jock riding today wearing those orange leg bands, and it's for Liam O'Brien, as everybody here is taking a stand against bullying. Andy, and Liam O'Brien, obviously Johnny's nephew, as well as Keith O'Brien, Leo O'Brien's son, grandson.
Yeah, and Keith, of course, a fixture around here for many years and a terrific guy as well, and I think we can all agree we all stand behind Liam.
Yes, we do. And Johnny's starting kind of the movement out in California for the Breeders' Cup, and nice to see it continuing here on a big day of racing, bringing awareness to bullying. Wonder Godot returns 520 as the favorite, the daughter of Medaglia d'Oro. And you know, Mora Power ran well, just couldn't get it done. Lenore completes the try.
Yeah, Lenore ran fine. The winner was absolutely best here. Johnny's won this race 6 times for 5 different trainers. We thought they were all for Todd. We were wrong.
That he has, and he is standing by with Gabby Gaudet.
Thank you, Maggie. Yes, you've won this race plenty of times, and it's been a heck of a month for you as well, winning graded stakes from coast to coast. Johnny, congratulations. But talk a little bit about Wonder Godot. She obviously had a cleaner trip going in her turn today, and she found herself closer to the pace.
You know, that was the idea. You know, I was talking to the assistant to make sure that I break out of there and get a position going to the first turn where I actually keep her face clean and hopefully she'll be comfortable. I mean, they slow her down so much. I end up inherited the position where I was. I was very comfortable where I was, and she was very happy the way she was doing it. And then when I asked her down the lane, she responded beautifully, and she had beautiful stride. She strided out really well and got away from the other horses very easily.
And it looked like at the quarter pole, you still had a lot of horse underneath of you.
Like I said, it's like when I came down the lane and she switched the leads, her stride got really long and very comfortable, and I was very happy that she was doing it. She got away from the other horses pretty easily.
And Johnny, we see that you and many other riders today are sporting the orange bands on your leg. What can you tell us about the cause specifically and how important it is to you?
Well, it's very important, and it's really dear to my heart. Obviously, my nephew was being bullied in school. He's been in hospital for almost 3 months. He's out here with us today. So we want to dedicate a day with him, making it upbeat, making awareness about bullying, and hopefully we can make that awareness that, you know, the bullying is still out there, and it's still a very big part of our culture or of our society, if you will, and hopefully we can help even one kid save somebody's life. It will help somebody, definitely.
Very, very important cause, and very nice to see you guys and the entire jockey colony really backing the cause as well. Congratulations here, and best of luck in the next one.
All right, thank you. And thanks to Naira, and thanks to all the jockeys, and they actually were willing to put the orange band on the legs and on the boots. So I'm very proud that everybody's gathered up and for the good cause anyway.
Absolutely. Congratulations here, Johnny.
Thanks again.
All right, back to you, Maggie. Obviously a very, very good cause. Good to see everybody kind of jumping on board here, and rightly so.
That's exactly right, Gabby. And really, Johnny, you know, kind of the leader of the jocks room, a true gentleman.
Absolutely. The racetrack is a family. I mean,
Yes.
You compete and you try to beat each other all the time in the racetrack, but in the important things, everybody comes together.
Well, that's one thing that's trending today for a good cause, but another thing in regards to racing, we have the fan pool favorite NYRA race of 2017. Gunrunner Whitney, I'm sure, is going to get a lot of votes, just saying. Taproot in the Belmont Stakes, Lady Eli, the venerable winner of the Diana, as well as West Coast dominating the Travers.
I voted.
Did you?
I did.
I was really busy prepping for this show. I'm ashamed to admit.
You know, I have nothing to do, so I had plenty of time and I voted.
Well, good for you. We will check in with the results of that poll and also check in with our personal favorite races from the 2017 NYRA calendar year as we will check in with Gabby Gaudet. And after 41 years, well, the inner track is no longer. Gabby has an update on what just went on over the summer here to give Aqueduct its new facelift.
Thank you, Maggie. Yes, well, there's been a lot of changes here at Aqueduct since the last time that we saw it, and one of those new changes has been the installment of a brand new safety rail. Now, the material, the flexibility, the design of this new safety rail makes it safe for not only the horses, but as Hall of Famer Johnny Velasquez puts it, makes it safe for the riders as well.
It does a better job, because when we bounce into the rail instead of breaking apart or going in pieces, if you will. This one kind of bends and gives you a good feeling to it, actually, and it will bounce you back out, and still the rail still stays put on where it's supposed to be. And I think it's much better for all of us and for the horses as well. And if they don't break and doesn't go apart, I mean, it doesn't hurt the horses or us.
Well, the installment of the brand new safety rail was not the only change here at Aqueduct. The transformation of the inner dirt course also happened, which has been here since 1975. That's transformed into a brand new state-of-the-art turf course, which includes 3 rail settings, new distance of 1 mile circumference, and a better variety of distance to be run on this new turf course. And this change has been getting rave reviews from both horsemen and jockeys.
Gives us much more options now with it. With the circumference of it, we can run the shoe 7/8 or a mile, where when we were on the inner track, we were pretty pigeonholed at either 6 furlongs or a 2-turn mile and the 16th. So I think it'll benefit us as horsemen and certainly benefit the racing office.
Got more opportunity to ride more horses, Sometimes if the fields are small, so very few of jockeys gonna ride all the races, And now with the biggest field, so everybody got a chance to be on the race.
I think it's great for the horses, it's great for the game, and obviously putting on another turf course in the infield, so it makes it have more variety and have different races in there. So I think it's a great job that they're doing it, and hopefully we can continue improving things, because we have to give to the public the different things that we can do it, and the more we improve the business, the better it is for all of us.
Well, as you can see, we've a new dirt course and a brand new safety rail installed here at Aqueduct. And Maggie, it goes to show you that change is not a bad thing. Back to you.
That's for sure, Gabby. And that new Aqueduct main track, same kind of surface that we saw over the winter time for the inner track, as of course turf racing here in the Big Apple does wind down. But speaking of turf racing, well, Catholic Boy could be praised for his efforts on that surface, but will he be able to convert to dirt for the Remsen? Stay tuned.
It's Run Happy in front. Limousine Liberal, Holy Boss can't get him. Run Happy has won the NYRA.com Kings Bishop by 4.
Plus provides a fast and easy way to make deposits and cash out of your NYRA Bets account. Make purchases with your Play Plus card everywhere Discover is accepted. Use your credit or debit card to fund Play Plus with high approval rates. Easily transfer funds from Play Plus directly into your NYRA Bets account. Enjoy instant withdrawals, no enrollment fees, and no monthly fees. Choose Play Plus for easy deposits. Sign up for your Play Plus account today at NYRABets.com.
Well, we just missed Andy's mode of transportation, the A train. If you take the A train from the city, you might catch Andy Sterling on it as well.
Anytime. Come in the morning, going back at night, take the front car on the way back, towards the back on the way to the track. It's a great way to travel. It takes me just over an hour from my apartment and Aqueduct. I just love the idea of a racetrack that's accessible by subway.
Well, yeah, all of them were going back to the day before we had automobiles. Anyway, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, Good Magic was a good thing that day, going back for Chad Brown and Jose Ortiz. And he, though, is the second choice on the Derby future pool.
Yeah, you know, 11-1. It's funny. He was talking about those future pools actually with his trainer Chad Brown and with Todd Pletcher earlier, and just talking about these odds. I mean, I could never take a price like that this far out. If everything goes right for Bolt Duro, Good Magic, what are they going to be? 4-1 in the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, exactly. And then you have like McKinsey, for instance, at 12-1, who's run one race.
What a maiden race, right?
Same with Montauk. Who's to say we'll ever see them again?
And listen, it's Baffert and Pletcher, and they're great trainers, and they've had success in the Derby, but still, I don't think Bob or Todd were running in to take 12 or 17-1.
No, they aren't, but we want to welcome everybody back to Aqueduct Live. We still have two graded stakes here to bring to you. And coming up next in 12 minutes is the 2-year-old boy's turn. It is the Grade 2 Remsen, and we do see at 2-1 Avery Island in here. Andy, he has been undefeated now going longer distances for his trainer, Kieran Mclaughlin.
So horse that Joe Bravo was very high on and not even discouraged after he didn't run well going short, because he told Kieran Mclaughlin he'll be fine when he goes longer. And Joe had a sensational year in 2017, was dead right. He's going to be forwardly placed. We'll see if he gets outrun by Vouch, but he has good post position towards the inside, and he is the horse to beat.
That he is, and though we are going to take a look at the Nashua, in which he once again was convincing, winning by 4 3/4 lengths here, Andy, but he did get things all his own way.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, he is getting tested. There are some talented horses in this race. He's got to get the 1 1/8. He is bred to go it. He shouldn't have a big problem. But as you say, he's had 2 straight trips when he's had everything his own way. He is going to get tested in this Remsen.
And I must say that he possibly has the most clever name out in racing right now. Avery Island is where Tabasco sauce is made as he is out of Kinda Spicy. Next, we will check in with the almost white Al-Khatam here for Chad Brown. He is running a maiden who was only beaten 3/4 of length in his debut back at Belmont going a mile. And Chad Brown is toting this horse as a possible 3-year-old star that he's very talented with a wonderful mind as well.
No, I agree. He is very high on this horse. Now, he's obviously got to go on and prove it, but Chad Brown has had a lot of success with maidens in stake races this year. He won the Miss Grillo with Significant Form, who was a maiden. Now, she had finished first and been disqualified, but he, of course, won the Breeders' Cup with a maiden as well. Not afraid to make that move, and this is a horse that figures to get better with distance and with experience, but he also finished behind a horse, Triple Dog Dare, who's in this race as well.
Yeah, and Triple Dog Dare ran well, too. He's certainly a player in this running for trainer Rudy Rodriguez, the other maiden in this field. But it's a perfect segue because Shadwell owns Al-Khatam, and we're going to check in with Gabby Gaudet now, and her paddock report is brought to you by Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future. Gabby, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Maggie. And well, we will start off with those 2 maidens and start with the number 7, Al-Khatam. And I got to tell you, this horse looks phenomenal in the flesh. Now, I didn't get up close and personal to him in debut, but he just looks like he's in the game. He's focused on what he needs to do. He looks fantastic in the flesh. I just like how he looks, how he's acting, and I definitely think he needs the 2 turns and experience. All those things that are going to help him today. As we take a look at the 2, Triple Dog Dare, I don't mind this horse either, guys, for Rudy Rodriguez. Now, he does have to prove that he can go 9 furlongs, but both of these maidens, as funny as it may sound, they're big, they're sizable. All of these horses look like, or both of these horses, excuse me, look like added distance should be beneficial towards them. So I don't mind either of these 2 maidens in here. Now, the 5 Catholic Boy, he's making his dirt debut today. He won the With Anticipation back at Saratoga, and he was a good 4th at Del Mar in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. And for me, I don't think that dirt is impossible for him. I don't really mind mind the surface switch, and it does seem like this is the right time to try it and see what you have moving forward as a 3-year-old. However, I don't know if he's kind of at the same level as some of these other horses getting 9 furlongs on the dirt here today. He just is a little bit petite. He's not very big in size. So we'll see what he does, but I do prefer the maidens, guys, actually.
Well, Gabby, you do bring up interesting points because we've only run one other 1 1/8 maiden race for 2-year-olds, and so maybe it's just what these horses are crying out for. Now, adversely, number 5, a Catholic boy, she did mention he is a smaller, handier type, Andy, and to me, that kind of says turf as well.
I agree. I think the connections are making the right move, Maggie.
Right.
There's no race for him to be running in. They could have gotten to California and gotten beaten up by Analyze It, or they can take a shot and see if he's a dirt horse. No harm done. He's got all next year to go back on the turf, and who knows? He has been good on the turf. Barbaro was a turf horse, and he won the Kentucky Derby. So we've seen these horses Big Brown as well. So they're taking a shot. He's a terrible bet at 5-2. He's going to drift up. He's a terrible bet at 4-1. But he is talented. It's just not be on the surface.
The other thing, too, in his favor is that he's battle-tested, and he's gotten in trouble, and he's found his way out of trouble.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Now, it's easier to do that on turf than it is to do it on dirt, but it's a very good point. He is the most experienced horse in this race, especially with the 2 turns and the routes.
Well, they are making their way on to the main track here at the Big A as we'll kick off this post parade brought to you by OCD Pellets, celebrating their 10th anniversary of supporting the equine industry with their 2-in-1 bone joint supplement. Number 1 in here is Bandito. He comes by way of Kentucky for Dale Romans.
Dale Romans knows how to win a big race, and this horse did break his maiden going 1 1/8. It was a sloppy track, and it was a slow race.
Triple Dog Dare will go out for the ever-lucky ownership of E5 Racing.
From a standpoint of value, this horse is 10-1 and finished ahead of a horse who's 5-2. That's value, Maggie.
That is right. You're not getting it really on Avery Island, though. He's number 3 as Kieran Mclaughlin looks to win this race as he did 2 years ago with Mohaman.
Nothing wrong with this horse. His races haven't been incredibly fast, but they're not slow. He's in a good controlling position on the inside. We'll see if or when he takes pace pressure, how he does.
Well, I mentioned that 1 1/8 maiden race. It was won by number 4, Biblical.
It was the fastest figure he's ever run, and he's improved his buyer speed figures almost 10 points at every start. Another improvement like that, and he could win an upset.
Catholic Boy is number 5.
He's going to have to like the dirt. He's talented, but is this the right surface?
Millionaire Runner comes from the Mid-Atlantic for Jaime Mejia.
And he's a millionaire runner in name, not in PPs.
Number 7 is Alcatam here for Chad Brown.
Chad Brown, very high on this horse, taking a lot of money. He's a horse who should relish the distance.
I must say, yes, it's true, not known for getting distance, but number 8, Vouch won at a mount of 16th, first time out.
I think this horse is talented. Now, he's got to be able to use his speed to get over from an outside post, but he has a chance at a big price.
VIP Code, well, he does have a lot of experience. He's number 9.
He seems a little bit slow and distance challenged as well.
Tap Rap Strike will look to give John Service redemption here in the Remsen.
Has to overcome a tough post. Got a credible buyer speed figure in his debut, but the horses he beat have not come back and run that well.
No, they haven't. You're looking, though, with the maiden. That is Alcatam, as you're going to place a win bet on him.
I'm going to bet $20 to win on him, but I'm also going to make a $5 exacta box 3, 7, 8. Obviously, the 3 and 7 are the favorites. Sort of get your money back if they can run 1, 2. We'll try to get the 8 Vouch into the number. He's the long shot.
Well, they all have Avery Island. We'll see if he can heat it up once again out on the Aqueduct main track for this Grade 2 Remsen. Stay tuned to Aqueduct Live.
Shadwell Farm, home to world-class stallions, presents 2 young stars. Mohaman, undefeated 2-year-old, multiple graded stakes winner at 2 and 3. A dazzling son of Tappet, winner of his first 5 career starts, 4 in graded stakes. Grade 1 winner, Tamarcuz, winner of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. This son of Speightstown was a top international miler that earned over $1.8 million. Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb has emerged as one of the nation's most promising young stallions. The leading freshman sale sire of weanlings, yearlings, and 2-year-olds, his first runners are off to a fast start. His debut winners have dazzled on the track, scoring on both dirt and turf. In the sales rep, his yearlings continue to command top prices, including the $1 million co-sale topper at Saratoga. Outstanding value, outstanding results, or standing at Claiborne Farm.
Here at Aqueduct, we certainly have some beautiful murals up on the wall to adorn the fans that are here at the Big A, and hopefully they are using their Naira Bets account, and if they're not a member, they can earn $100 when you use promo code LIVE. Visit NairaBets.com and register and get $100 in your first 14 days to earn that $100 bonus. As always, use your Naira Bets, as I'm sure Gabby Gaudet does the same thing, but she has a little bit of an update on your favorite Avery Island.
Thanks, Maggie. And obviously, this is probably the horse to beat on paper in Avery Island, as he is coming out of a victory in the Grade 2 Nashua. But one thing that I did notice from him in the paddock, he was beginning to get a little bit keyed up, a little bit of kidney sweat, a little on the hot side too. And of course, my hands are freezing. So as you know, it's not really that warm outside. So as you can see him, he's really on his toes. Now look, physically, he looks great. It looks like the races that have been put into him have developed him. He's strong, good shoulder, good hind end. He looks very strong and willing to go this distance, but in observance, just looking at what he was doing in the paddock and trackside, maybe just something to keep in the back of your mind. Now, the 8 Vouch, I thought, was one that you could maybe throw in, as we were talking about. It doesn't hurt to be forwardly placed in these types of races, and this horse could be the main speed, or he could be stalking just to the outside of Avery Island. And he didn't beat much in his first start, but I still think he's got the pedigree in order to get this distance. He's got 2-turn experience on the main track, and he doesn't necessarily look physically like Al-Khatam or like those other horses that I was describing, big, strong-looking horses. He's more of an elegant-looking type of horse, but that's really what we see from these Arnaud Delacour horses coming up from Fair Hill. So I thought that he was worthy of looking at as a long shot here, guys.
He certainly is a long shot. I would say an overlay at 14-1. And if you want to get in on the action on Vouch, make sure you use your Naira Bets app. It is now available on your iPhone. You can download at the App Store, and you can be anywhere and play the races here in New York, and as well as over 200 tracks nationwide. And Andy, just kind of circling back on what Gabby had said about Avery Island, I have been in the paddock for all 3 of his previous efforts, and he always gets that way. So it's him. He gets a little hot. He gets a little revved up.
Well, Maggie, that's the best thing that you bring to us. You bring many great things to us, but the ability to keep notes on horses and talk about how they look in retrospect. And for Gabby, she's not in the paddock.
Right,
Just
exactly.
can't see it. But you have kept detailed notes for going on 10 years here, and to be able to tell people this horse is washy, but he's always washy, or he looks great today, he has looked badly in the past. That's the best thing that anyone can do, and nobody does it better than you do.
Well, thank you. I'm blushing up here. Good thing the camera's not on. No, I'm kidding. As they are loading in the gate here, Andy, talk a little bit about Vouch. I mean, obviously, Gabby expanded on him. He was just so much the best, but what did he face that day?
You don't know. He didn't beat much, but he can't control who's behind him. Looking at the race, it seems like it was a fair race. It came up fast on both figures that I look at. The key to him is his post position, though. It's okay to be off the rail, but we saw the last race, 4 of them went. You don't want to get caught out 5 wide in the first turn. So can Joe Rosario break sharply enough and outrun the horse to the inside so he doesn't lose a lot of ground in the first turn? If that happens and he secures either a good position outside of Avery Island or in front, he can win this race, and he is an upset special at 14-1.
And it's never easy. I mean, you were breaking pretty much on the turn here, so it's a very short run into that clubhouse turn for this Remsen. A mile and an eighth. We have a few out, and we'll throw it up to race caller John Embrial, who bring you this second greatest stakes here on Aqueduct Live.
And we're just waiting here on number 10, Tap Rap Strike. 10 2-year-olds set to go, 9 furlongs in the Remsen. They're all in. And they're off. And Bandito is out for the lead from the inside post. Avery Island away well. And then it's Millionaire Runner. And on the outside, it's Vouch. As the field goes into the turn, Bandito from that inside post position has a narrow lead over Avery Island. Millionaire Runner on the outside in third. Then it's Vouch and Triple Dog Dare. Their heads apart 4th and 5th. And in between those two, it's Catholic Boy in 6th. A break of 2 to VIP Code, who's running in 7th. Then it's Biblical at the rail in 8th. Tap Rap Strike on the outside is 9th. And Al-Khatam is the early trailer in 10th as they move up the backstretch after a quarter that was run in 23 and 4/5 seconds. Millionaire Runner is right alongside of Bandito. Two long shots, heads apart for the lead, and Vouch is just off them in third. The half in 48 and 4. And then it's Avery Island who's running in fourth. On his outside is Catholic Boy, and on his inside is Triple Dog Dare. Then comes Biblical, followed by Tap Rap Strike, VIP Code, and Alcatam is still the trailer. They're going into the far turn. Here's Millionaire Runner to come away with the lead as Bandito drops back. Vouch is right there. And Catholic Boy on the outside. 3/4 went in 1:14 and 1. Tap Rap Strike is beginning to gain ground, and Alcatam is moving from the back of the pack. Avery Island is in behind the front runners as they come off the turn and enter the stretch. And here is Catholic Boy now to take over the lead. Catholic Boy in front as they pass the 3/16 pole. Catholic Boy with a 3-length lead. Then Avery Island and Vouch and Tap Rap Strike and Alcatam. But it's Catholic Boy, and he may have grown up some today. Catholic Boy wins the Remsen under Manny Franco. Avery Island was second, and Vouch finished third. The time was 1 minute, 52 and 2/5 seconds.
Catholic Boy, he just became a man. And boy, you got to appreciate this horse. I mean, it's the second race that we've seen on this show that a horse has proven that it doesn't matter what surface they're on.
I'm going to say he was better on the dirt than he was on the turf. It's amazing.
100%.
I would never bet a horse like this. Congratulations to the people who had him and the connections. And he was clearly best as well. This race was almost a second and a half faster than the girls. I mean, that's a good 8 lengths faster than that horse. This was a very impressive performance by Catholic Boy.
And he was closer to the pace, and I mean, they rattled off kind of consistent fractions throughout the whole 9 furlongs.
Now, I will say that the track has been kind, and we talked about earlier the horses who were forwardly placed, and perhaps that didn't help Alcatam, but the pace was very honest in this race, and he really didn't even make any dent, was a distant fourth, and a very disappointing effort for Alcatam.
And boy, let's talk a little bit, though, about, we have Chad Brown, high profile, but Jonathan Thomas, former assistant for Todd Pletcher, striking at around 30%, picks up at least his second graded stakes win on the NYRA circuit.
No, I mean, this is a very big win for him, and he's going to have a high-profile horse after this race, and he deserves it. This was a very good performance.
Manny Franco up in the irons aboard Catholic Boy, 4-1. Well, he made it look as though he should have been 2-1, as we will check in with the connections on the flip side of this break, and we'll also check in with some of our favorites from this past year. Stay tuned to Aqueduct Live. Welcome back to Aqueduct Live. Well, another Remsen in the books here as we saw Catholic Boy dominating. And, well, we also had a good showing of the Toys for Tots campaign here today. And we always like to see our men in uniform, the Marine Corps always sponsoring Toys for Tots, and I know they had a good turnout. I was down there at the entrance to Aqueduct, and those LaPenta colors, they show up nicely on the Aqueduct main track.
They do. LaPenta colors have won some very big races, mostly associated before with Nick Zito. Datara upsetting the Belmont Stakes, some very big wins, but nice to see them doing well.
And John Panna got there off-siding Catholic Boy into the winner's circle. The longtime manager of LaPenta Stable. Catholic Boy, 10-20 for the win. And Vouch, as we were saying, Andy, ran a very valiant race to be third.
I mean, he did. It was a fast pace. It's his second career start. He dropped down to the inside in the stretch, which may not be the best place to be. A very promising effort for him. But the most promising horse coming out of this race definitively is Catholic Boy.
And he will certainly be part of that Derby future pool now with that performance in the Remsen. And we also need to check in with his trainer, Jonathan Thomas, having one heck of a year as he's standing by with Gabby Gaudet.
That he is, Maggie, with one heck of a horse, that's for sure, with graded stakes on both the turf and the dirt. And I guess my first question for you, Jonathan, is what took you so long to get to the dirt after that performance?
You know, early on, it was just a matter of getting distance, which has really been his forte. And, you know, the dirt, or turf rather, offered us some options to go around a ground. And, you know, I think we came in here with confidence knowing he'd get the distance, but the surface was obviously a question.
Well, and he obviously drew away from the field, quick time, faster than the fillies. Your thoughts on his overall performance? Did it kind of surpass your expectations?
There's no doubt it did. I mean, I need to go back and, like, dissect the race by watching a little bit, but I thought, you know, it wasn't the perfect first turn scenario. We thought we'd be a little bit closer, but he got shuffled back a little, and Manny did a great job of getting him in the clear. And, you know, from there, as far as him getting the trip, we thought that would happen.
And he's a horse that has a little bit of heart to him. I mean, he's been in traffic troubles. He's had issues on the turf, now on the dirt too. And that's got to be great moving forward in terms of your confidence levels.
It does for some reason, and he's a really rateable horse. He just has found some traffic issues and trouble, but he's able to negotiate it, so absolutely.
I guess we're going to look for maybe a 3-year-old campaign on the dirt next?
Sure. We'll see what the powers to be think, and we'll go from there.
All right, well, congratulations, Jonathan. Big win.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, Catholic Boy, impressive victory here today, guys.
Gabby, thank you. And Jonathan Thomas, man, a few words, but a very good horseman.
Absolutely. Did a great job with Todd Pletcher, a terrific guy, and he's got a very good horse in his hands, and he's about to become a household name in horse racing.
Yes, and we are dealing with some household names in regards to our favorite races here at NYRA for 2017. Andy, you will kick things off, and no surprises here, picking the winner of this year's Alan Jerkins.
You know I'm a huge fan of Practical Joke, and for me, this was about as satisfying a race as we ran all year, not only because I'm a fan of Practical Joke, but I've been telling Chad Brown since maybe 2016, he'll be on the Triple Crown Trail, but he's going to win what was then the King's Bishop and became the Alan Jerkins. And to see it come to fruition, as you know in horse racing, the best laid plans very rarely work out. A great ride by Joel Rosario, beating the Vosburg winner in Toccoffel. I love Practical Joke. I hope he goes out a winner today, but I'll never forget his big win in the King's Bishop.
I must say that you did call that early on in the spring, that he would definitely win that staple up at Saratoga. But I know one lady down trackside is keeping it alive for the girls. Gabby Gaudet, you are siding with a particular filly or mare.
Yeah. Yes, Maggie, that I am, forever unbridled over the course of the summer. And, you know, she really had to, I think, kind of step up to the plate in the personal ensign. Obviously, we saw Songbird going into the race. All eyes were on Songbird, but she really showed up that day. And on top of that, it kind of started a banner year for trainer Dallas Stewart. She won the personal ensign, and she went on to win the Breeders' Cup to staff. We also saw Dallas Stewart take down another Grade 1 in the Clark as well. But this was just an exciting finish, and she finally showed how talented that she really is, and she just continues to get better even after a very light campaign so far this year.
And she has been, and it talks in the making that she might go to the Pegasus this year, and we'll see if she faces this guy, who's my favorite of 2017, Gun Runner. And for a race that goes down in the history books as probably being the most unique, given what Gun Runner came back with in his tail. That was the shoe of one of his opponents, and you can kind of see it there as it's kind of flopping back and forth. But, you know, it really kind of spoke to the fact of how good Gun Runner was this year as a 4-year-old. He took down the Whitney, the Woodward, and then eventually the Breeders' Cup Classic in ultra impressive and dominating form. As we see that shoe fly up off of the Luch racing horse and bounce off his hind end and go straight into his tail. The thing is, what I think made that happen here, Andy, is that that horse was wearing a glue-on shoe, so it had some of that glue and Equilox stuck to it, so it just went straight into his tail. And it was one of the most incredible things that we'll ever see. I've never seen it happen in a horse race, let alone a Grade 1 kind of classic in the Whitney.
And it clearly brought him luck throughout the year. And Gun Runner had a real old-fashioned campaign. He dances every dance. He was running for a long time, and he got better with every single start. He is what champions are all about.
Everybody has my back here. As yes, I mean, Gun Runner, it was truly memorable, but a lot of people going for Lady Eli as well. And I mean, what she overcame and what she put on this year truly was one of the most astonishing stories that we see in horse racing.
No, I mean, she's a great story in racing, and she's been a wonderful racehorse. Unfortunately, she ended her career with a rough race, but that doesn't wash away the terrific career that she did have.
Well, we'll see if this race coming up next, the Cigar Mile, goes down as one of the most memorable here, and Mind Your Biscuits looks for his 5th graded stakes with the New York bred Millionaire. Stay tuned.
Coming on strong. Coming on strong.
The Star Guitar filly rolls. Minute to stardom. Dazzles on debut.
Coming on.
Testing 1-2 is all alone. She comes to the 16th pole, and this one is all over but the crying. Iona Star was a star today. Won it easily by 3.5.
My love for you. Coming on strong.
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Naira Bets, racing's best play.
on the outside as the field turns for home, and it is Cigar. Cigar coming to mid-stretch with a 5-length lead. Devil is Due second, American Chance, and then Punchline on the far outside. They're coming down to the final 16th, and Cigar running a monstrous race today to win the Naira Mile. And he did it decisively. He beat Devil is Due by 6 lengths, and Punchline was third.
Well, that's why this race is called the Cigar Mile, formerly known as the Naira Mile, as that was the second race, Andy, in that 16-race win streak.
No, he was a tremendous racehorse, and this was the one that tipped his hand. Obviously, he flourished down in Florida, where he ended up in that race against Holy Bull, but this was an incredible performance. I mean, he was a winner every step of the way. He was sitting fourth, they were going fast, and you didn't know he'd do this, but you knew he was good.
He will go down as one of my all-time favorites, as Gabby is standing by with a special guest here at Naira.
Thank you, Maggie. Of course, standing next to Chris Kay, and we were just kind of reminiscing about some of our favorite races over the course of the past year held here at Naira. But Chris, what would you say has been your most memorable moment of the past year here at Naira?
Well, you're right. There were so many. You know, whether you think about the great field we had for the Travers, for example, or when Gun Runner won a race with a horseshoe in its tail. But my favorite moment actually involved Naira TV. One of the things I love about horse racing is that it doesn't cost very much money for you to be the owner of a sports franchise. And I always pointed to the owners of California Chrome. I said, you don't have to have $2 billion to own California Chrome. It was like $20,000. What could be better than that? Well, you guys did an interview. You do great interviews of the jockeys after the race, but you also interviewed, I think it was Maggie interviewed an owner right before the Evan Shipman and said, I understand that you were able to own a horse by winning a poker game. And he said, well, actually, no, it was a backgammon game. So you don't even have to have money. If you're just a good backgammon player, you too can be an owner in horse racing. And I just thought that was a great moment. And it kind of captured the fact that we did such a great job with Naira TV this year in so many ways.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And as you said, you can get into the sport in any which path that you so choose. What are some expectations for next year? What do you look forward to most?
Well, I'll tell you, we've made a number of improvements, and every year we build upon those improvements. So here at Aqueduct, we just opened the second turf course, and it's been fantastic. So we look forward to more of the same in 2018. Then we go to Belmont, and we'll be celebrating our 150th Belmont Stakes in June. That will be a big moment. And then at Saratoga, when we open in July, we're going to have a great new section I think young people will love. We're calling them the social boxes. It'll be at the end of the grandstand. There won't be a dress code, but there'll be high technology, and you'll be able to enjoy everything you would enjoy in any other box on the track, except it's going to be even better with a dedicated bar, great viewing of the racetrack, and technology.
Well, we're very much looking forward to it. Quick pick here. Who do you like?
Well, there are 3 good horses in this race, but I don't know if any of you know it, but one of the owners of Mind Your Biscuits is a Naira employee. So we've all kind of embraced that horse emotionally. We look forward, and good luck to Dan Summers and his team.
Okay, Mind Your Biscuits for Chris Kay, guys. Back to you.
And we all are certainly rooting for Mind Your Biscuits. I mean, he's been a cool New York bred that everybody's been able to root for, Andy.
And as Chris pointed out, Dan Summers is somebody we work with, and if you can't root for the people you work with, then you can't root for anybody. So you're always going to, even if I don't bet him, and I know we all feel the same way, we're happy when he does well.
Now, Andy, currently 7-2 on Sharp Azteca. Do you think that's a bit of a big price on him?
It is. He's in an interesting position in this race. He's been able to dominate his recent races, and big races, and ran well in all of them, on moderate paces. He rates to be in a much tougher pace today. Seymour Dini's likely to show speed, and Americanized, the 5, is likely to show speed. So while Sharp Azteca benefits from drawing outside of those speeds, it's not going to be such an easy pace for him, Maggie.
Well, and I read that Jorge Navarro decided to take Paco Lopez off because he felt as though he should have pushed the button earlier and not allowing Battle of Midway to get to him as quick as he did. We'll also see Practical Joke rallying up the outside. What can you say about his trip?
Well, he was completely compromised. First of all, it was a slow pace, and he's a deep closer, and he was trying to come from last. So you couldn't pick up that ground. He also was down the inside for a good part of the race, and it was a two-turn race. And he's a horse that's shown to be better at one turn. I'm not convinced that he needs one turn, but he is better at one turn, and he's going to get a faster, more contested pace today.
Yes, he is. There's no doubt about it, and it should set up nicely for him running out of the 1 mile chute here. As, yeah, I mean, he is going to go and be retired, going to Ashford for Coolmore after this race here. And Chad Brown kind of brought up great points with him. He's a 3-year-old. He's run 7 times. This is his 8th start of this year. And that how sound and how much of an iron horse he is.
He's never run a bad race.
No.
He's either won or he's been competitive and he's had some excuses, but he's even his Derby. He doesn't want any part of a 1.25 miles. And while he got a tremendous ride by Joel Rosario, who rides him brilliantly, 5th was an incredible achievement. This would be a crowning achievement for him. And listen, I'm a fan, Maggie. I'm going to be rooting my heart out for this horse today.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes you hope that he would have stuck around a little bit more because he's so much fun to watch, that's for sure. As Gabby will be up next with a paddock report brought to you, not brought to you by anybody here today. It's just brought to you by Gabby Gaudette. Gabby.
Well, I'm happy to bring you the paddock report, Maggie. Thank you very much. And we'll check in with the #1, Mind Your Biscuits, who obviously does draw the rail today for trainer Chad Summers. And I did get the chance to talk to Chad a couple days ago, and they shipped him in actually to Aqueduct to not only gate school him, but also paddock school him. So they paddock schooled him on Wednesday, then they went to the gate with him on Thursday. And I asked him why that was, and he said he actually does this before every single race, no matter where it is, whether he was at Saratoga and he walked him over to the track to the front side, or whether you have to kind of ship him in. The same case when he was running down at Gulfstream as well. So he's just always been a bit of a quirky horse, and this way they can kind of give him the experience of coming and getting acclimated to the paddock and what he's going to experience in the afternoon. And by looking at him here today, it looks like it's really worked. He's not turning a hair, Maggie.
That is good because he can get revved up, Gabby, as he will be the first horse we are going to check out for this Cigar Mile brought to you by Naira Betts. Mind Your Biscuits, he occupies that rail spot. He is #1 here as the rest of the horses are making their way up that ramp onto the track, carrying the colors for J Stable as well as Head of Plain Partners. Mind Your Biscuits, New York bred.
We'll see if he can get it done. A mile is really a question mark for him, but he did run well to finish 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Sprint last time.
And talk about coming out of one of the most interesting trips in the Bold Ruler. That's #2, Seymour Deeney.
This is a career possible making race for this horse. He is going to need an aggressive ride from the inside. He could be a major threat today.
#3 is Just Call Kenny, the Virginia bred.
57-1 seems like an underlay looking at his PPs.
Tom's Ready, our somewhat upset winner of that Bold Ruler, running probably one of the best races of his career.
I would say it was the best race and certainly the fastest race, Maggie, but he took advantage of a very fast pace that day. Still, improving horse for a good trainer in Dallas Stewart.
And likely being a part of the pace today is #5, Americanized. The gray comes from California for Simon Callahan.
Love his connections, make the trip and taking a shot in a very, very important race. He ran his best race last time. Does he have another forward move?
The Son of Freud is sharp as Tekka, looking for that first grade 1.
Draws well outside the other speeds, but he's going to have to deal with a tougher pace than he's dealt with recently, but he is very good.
Vulcan's Forge, another long shot.
He's going to need a total meltdown in this race and the other closers like Mind Your Biscuits and Practical Joke not to show up.
Right, and now current favorite #8 is Practical Joke for Chad Brown.
He needs that fast pace, do some running. Can a horse make a significant close on this track? That could be his Achilles heel.
Lightly raced #9, Summer Revolution.
He seems like every time he gets going the right direction, they put him in over his head. He's run some good races, but is he this good?
Beasley was 3rd behind Tom's Ready in his last start.
I like the way Mark Hennig has gone on with his horse. He's given him all the right allowance races to build up to stake races. He is not impossible to get a piece if this race falls apart.
All right, he will be trying the mile here for the first time. But Andy, he kept it simple here once again with an exacta box.
Boxing a speed and a closer. Seymour Deeney on the front. Practical Joke from the back, a 2-8 box for $10. Try to redeem myself on what's been a lousy bunch of picks so far today.
That's okay. Hopefully you'll have the last laugh just like Practical Joke here in the Cigar Mile as he is bidding farewell to racing and heading to Ashford Stud for a 2018 stud career.
Shadwell Farm, home to world-class stallions, offers 2 successful stake sires. Brilliant Miler, Daher, a consistent source of quality. Daher is the sire of black-type winners coast to coast. Grade 1 winner and millionaire, Albertus Maximus, winner of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile and Don Handicap. He is now siring black-type horses across the U.S. and abroad. Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase, he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe, running a 105 Beyer and winning by open lengths. Mastery, new for 2018 at Claiborne Farm.
And possibly one of the most famous horses winning the, what was then the Naira Mile in 1988, 49er.
Incredible racehorse, his second to last career start. But what's most notable about that race, Maggie, besides it being the first running, and Woody Stevens, of course, winning, which is really cool, is the rider. William Fox, actually, the brother of Tammy Fox, Dale Roman's partner, it was a jockey strike. And so the regular name riders weren't riding. So a bunch of riders you don't hear of riding some pretty darn good horses.
That's really cool. And 49er made $2.7 million when $2.7 million was a heck of a lot of money. As always, we have the sign-up bonus for new members at NairaBets.com. Make sure you use promo code LIVE. Bet 100, get 100 over those 14 days. And you can always use your NairaBets account to wager on Naira tracks, as well as pretty much every other track around the country, as we are moments away from this year's Cigar Mile. And we'll check in with Gabby for one last report.
Thanks, Maggie. And we'll check in with the number 2, Seymour Deeney. And I got a chance to speak to Jose Ortiz and Linda Rice earlier today. And I was talking to Jose Ortiz about really what happened with his race last time out. And he said it really all started from the get-go. He broke a little bit on the slower side, and then just a few strides out of the gate, he was squeezed out of his position. He checked back to last in there. And he's a horse who does not have a lot of experience behind other horses. So unfortunately, he had to take a lot of kickback in his face, and Jose said he just kind of packed it in a little bit. He was he kind of just behind the horses, he didn't show that usual energy until he kind of brought him down on the inside rail outside of the kickback or inside of the kickback, and then he kind of found wings, a second gear, and he galloped out really, really strongly. So he was disappointed in what happened last time out, but he also saw excuse. Now, Linda also said he came out of the race wonderfully. She said he galloped out really strong. He got a lot out of that race too, and they've been pointing for this, the Cigar Mile, a long time ago, since the state dinner. He came up with a minor issue. They gave him a couple months off. They ran him in this race. She said she couldn't really find any appropriate race for him at Saratoga. So using that as a stepping stone here today, Jose Ortiz also said they're going to go from the inside and see what those other 2 speeds, Americanized and Sharp Azteca, do to the outside. But they're going to be aggressive today.
We'll see if being aggressive pays off. It is an interesting race that you want to play. Make sure you download the Naira Bets app on your iPhone. Make sure you go to the App Store to download it. It will be available on Android devices very soon. Andy, what can you say about Seymour Deeney? Now, Jose can be a somewhat lax rider if he doesn't feel as though the horse is going on. And I feel as though if he was a little bit more aggressive with this horse, it may have paid off.
It was a very strange race. It's hard to know exactly what's going on. You can see it, and you can only guess what the situation was. Now, I had a long talk with Linda Rice about Seymour Dini yesterday, and one thing I assured her that I agreed with was running in this race. You have got to run, because the purse is $750,000. It's probably worth $5 million if he wins it.
Yeah, a lot of horses trying to make stud careers here in this year's Cigar Miles. We'll throw it up to John Imbrial for the call of this final Grade 1 here in New York.
And the final horse, Beasley, moving in. We're just about set. Field of 10, going the mile. All standing nicely. And they're off. And Beasley broke well from the outside, as did Sharp Azteca, and now American Eyes moves up. Seymour Dini is there as they race up the chute. It's American Eyes and Sharp Azteca and Seymour Dini. So three of them heads apart for the lead. The front three have opened up 3 lengths on Summer Revolution, who's racing in 4th. Mind Your Biscuits is back in the pack here in the early going, running in 5th. As they head up the backstretch after a quarter in 22 and 3. Seymour Dini's made the lead. American Eyes is in 2nd and Sharp Azteca in 3rd. Break of 4 to Summer Revolution next in 4th. Mind Your Biscuits is in 5th, and it's Beasley running in 6th. Just Call Kenny is in 7th. Tom's Ready is 8th, and then it's Vulcan's Forge, and Practical Joke is 10th. But moving up some down on the inside. The half in 45 and 4/5 seconds. They're moving around the turn. Seymour Dini, half-length lead. The gray gelding American Eyes is running in 2nd. And Sharp Azteca is 3rd. A break of 2 to Mind Your Biscuits. And on the outside is Summer Revolution. Then it's Beasley. Practical Jokes is now within 5 lengths of the lead as they come off the turn and enter the stretch. And here is Sharp Azteca now to take the lead. 3/4 up in 1:10 and 4. Mind Your Biscuits is putting in a run on the outside, and now there's a furlong to the finish. It's Sharp Azteca with the lead. Mind Your Biscuits into 2nd. As they come down for the finish, it's Sharp Azteca, and he was sharp as can be today to win the Cigar Mile. Won it by 5. Mind Your Biscuits was 2nd. Practical Joke closed to be 3rd. American Eyes was 4th. The mile in 1 minute, 35 seconds.
The one thing I will say is that, well, we've seen some big margins of victory on this show, and none other than Sharp Azteca, who finally gets his Grade 1 win with a patient ride by Javier Castellano.
I agree. He showed he could rate. Did he get a perfect trip? Yes, but he showed the ability to rate, which is very important. And as you pointed out, these decisive wins, when you run big, important races like the Cigar Mile, I think it's great when a horse is a decisive winner. He was clearly best.
And it's also good when you have New York-bred bloodlines flowing through your top 2 finishers here, as Sharp Azteca is the son of Freud, though a Kentucky-bred, and Mind Your Biscuits, he did put in a good run here, as he is the New York-bred Horse of the Year of 2016.
And Mind Your Biscuits was able to stay close to the pace, and that really served him well, because Practical Joke, he was dead last. Horses are not making that run. I'm not making a major excuse. I'm not saying he was best. But Mind Your Biscuits having that speed going the mile, much more speed than he's had in the past, that served him well. He was 2nd best.
And Joel Rosario jumping off and Irad Ortiz on Mind Your Biscuits today. Obviously, you ride for Chad here, but do you think he's kicking himself a little bit?
No. He's done very well with Practical Joke. And I think, you know, Joel's ridden him so well in his rides in the Derby, and he's been loyal. And it's not just riding for Chad Brown. I think it's important to ride horses like Practical Joke. And you know what? I'm sure he's happy for the connections of Mind Your Biscuits, and he finished 2nd. There was nothing was going to happen that he was going to be 2nd.
As we see trainer Jorge Navarro there awaiting his charge, Sharp Azteca, to come back to the winner's circle. And you gotta love Sharp Azteca. He has been good his entire career. This 4-year-old colt by Freud. We will check in with those winning connections on the flip side of this break. The Cigar Mile is in the books, and it was all about Sharp Azteca.
Grade 1 winner Data Link by world-renowned sire Warfront. Data Link scored in the prestigious Grade 1 Makers 46 Mile at Keeneland. Then set a new course record in the Grade 2 Monmouth Stakes. With a pedigree free of Mr. Prospector in the first 4 generations, Data Link is the perfect outcross option. His first weanlings turned heads, selling well above the stud fee. Data Link at Claiborne Farm.
Coming on strong. Coming on strong.
The star guitar filly rolls. Minute to stardom. Dazzles on debut.
Coming on.
Testing 1-2 is all alone. She comes to the 16th pole, and this one is all over but the crying. Iona Star was a star today. Won it easily by 3.5.
My love for you. Coming on strong.
Welcome back to Aqueduct Live. Well, the Grade 1 Cigar Mile, $750,000 on the line, and it went to Sharp Azteca. You know, you can't help but feel good for this horse, getting kind of the redemption that he deserves.
No, he's had a sensational year, and he has proven race after race. This is a horse that George Navarro's had this horse since the beginning. This is not a horse he claimed. He's known as a claiming trainer, but he's had this horse from the beginning, and he's really never run that many bad races. He's a very good horse.
No, he's 8 for 16. He's 50% lifetime, and I'm sure his winnings here today put him very close to getting $2 million in the books as well. So he returns $550, as he did go off your eventual post-time favorite in the end over Mind Your Biscuits and Practical Joke. We also saw some upsets earlier on in the card. Andy, as the first 2 legs, Indulgent paid $27.40. That's pretty incredible. And then a horse you liked, Rachel's Blue Moon, a first-time starter for Jimmy Jerkins.
I like the second horse, 37-1.
Oh,
Thank you very much. I did back in the exacta. But this pick 5, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, paid unbelievably well. I think that it paid like 40 times the pick 4, which is remarkable. It continues to be the best bet in racing.
And with that being said, we do see a pick 6 carryover heading into the Sunday card, as we will check in with Gabby Audette, who is standing by with the pilot of Sharp Azteca.
That's right, Maggie. Thank you. Here with winning jockey Javier Castellano. And Javier, just kind of talk us through the race. Obviously, there was a fast pace towards the inside with the likes of Say Mordini and American Eyes. This horse clearly proved that he can rate effectively.
Absolutely, Gabby. The way we look at the PPO, the rest of the horses in the field, we see a lot of speed. 2 horses, it could be dictate the pace. But really impressive, that horse, the way he did it. Opened the gate, beat the gate, it beat the rest of the field out of the gate. And I ended up in the lead, did take the pace myself. but how good is a horse when you switch off a little bit and letting the two horses flew that spot. I like the way he did it, the way he developed it all the way in the race, right beautiful behind those two horses. The pace, the fracture a little pretty quick, 22:45. Lately, we don't see too many fast races here all the day. And the way he did it, right beautiful behind the horses, and the way he finished, very impressed. I just asked a little bit enough just to win the race, but I didn't push it all the way to the battle to the end. I think it was going to be a special horse for a long, long time.
Well, it's funny you say that he had so much left in the tank because he's coming back off of quick rest from the Breeders' Cup, and he won this race impressively after a fast pace. That just goes to show you his heart, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You don't see too many horses when they run too fast and the Breeders' Cup, and then they don't have a short rest. And the way he performed today, a mile race with good field horses, I think you're very impressed.
All right, well, congratulations, Javier.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Sharp Azteca once again, Sharp and Maggie finally getting that elusive grade 1.
And Gabby, as Andy and I were just saying, Andy, he has never run at the same track back to back. He runs all over the country, if not all over the world.
I believe this is his 10th different racetrack in 12 starts, and he never runs a bad one.
Well, Sax, man, he pulled ahead like Sharp Azteca did in the Aqueduct Showdown follow-along. He and the next two finishers, they will get that bonus as far as Naira Betts points are concerned. And I'm not going to... Automizer, I'd say, was in second place with M. God, 731. Play happy, run happy. Play happy, and then Run Happy. If you want a good sire, Run Happy was one of the fastest horses we saw running over the last couple years. He is standing at Claiborne Farm, and his stud fee for 2018 is $25,000. Well, Andy, we saw some great performances, individual performances, I think, in all three of our graded stakes.
No, we saw a horse in Sharp Azteca cap a terrific year, and we saw two horses with real hope for the future. I mean, Catholic Boy has to be considered one of the players in the Derby, and that's what those races are all about.
Can't wait. Already catching the Derby fever as Wonder Godot. She was impressive, as impressive can be in Catholic Boy. He certainly sealed his ticket to the Kentucky Derby 2018, and Sharp Azteca, always rooting for him as Javier Castellano teams up with Jorge Navarro in the win in the Cigar Mile. We want to thank everybody for joining us here on Aqueduct Live, our final show of this year, but have no fear, we'll be back in 2018. Thanks, everybody.